today I'm going to make another holiday favorite. They're red velvet cookies. I know I've done a red velvet cake and I've done red velvet pie, but now I'm going to cookies. So I'm going to start with a stick of unsalted butter and a half of a cup of white sugar. I had to cut the recipe in half because I just don't need as much as I normally would. And a third of a cup of light brown sugar. We're going to mix those together until they're light and fluffy. Now I'm going to add 1 egg, a teaspoon of vanilla, and then I need red food coloring. This is liquid food coloring. When I do my icing, I use gel food coloring, which is what this is. So I'm using this liquid, and if it's not red enough when we're finished, I can add some of the gel to it to make the red more pronounced. We're going to mix those together. Now I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, a teaspoon and a half of cornstarch, a half of a teaspoon of baking soda, a quarter of a teaspoon of salt, so not much at all, and a cup and a half of flour. We're going to mix that together until it's nice and becomes one dough. All right. And as you can see, the color red is beautiful, so I don't need to add more food coloring. Skip that part. So all I'm going to do is add my white chocolate chips, which is 3/4 of a cup. And then we're going to put this in a different bowl, and we're going to refrigerate it for about 3 hours. Then we'll pull it out and bake them. All right. So I have 3/4 of a cup of white chocolate chips. I'm just going to hand stir in. Don't use your mixer for this because it'll break up the chips and then it doesn't look right. And there we are. We'll refrigerate it for about 3 hours and then we'll come back and bake our cookies. So our red velvet cookie dough has been in the refrigerator for about 3.5 hours. Now I'm just going to take my cookie scoop and I'm going to scoop out balls of dough. We have preheated the oven to 350 degrees. So there we go. We'll bake these for about 8 minutes and then we'll be back. So our red velvet white chocolate chip cookies are done and out of the oven. The recipe makes 24 of them. So the first tray has been cooling, so I can move them to our cookie rack. And then we are going to let them sit for about 30 minutes, and then they'll be ready to serve.